Okay, hello. This is Tony, and today, if you have found this video, I think you're going to be pleased because I'm going to show you how to line a soap mold. When I first started soaping, finding a way to line this was kind of difficult. Everybody has their own way, and not all of them are very easy. So hopefully, you'll find the way that I'm doing it. You'll find that you'll be able to use it, and it'll work good for you. Let me just adjust this light a little bit here. So this is a 5-pound soap mold. It's made out of wood, and it's got these little screws and nuts here to take the side off when the soap is ready to come out of the mold. In the meantime, we need to line it because I don't have a silicone liner. So what I do is I take freezer paper, but you can use parchment paper. This freezer paper has a waxy side, which is shiny, and then a regular paper side, which is a matte. And if you are working with this, you'll want to have the shiny side up for what we're about to do. So like I said, there's many ways to do it. I found a video which I will link down below. And I think I tweaked it a little bit, but basically this is going to give you a really nicely lined mold. So what I've done is I've cut the paper to make sure that it will go all the way down, because you have to account for the sides coming up and then down across the bottom and then up and down again. So, I've made it like, I'm not sure exactly how long it is, but just I kind of eyeball it. And then you also want to make sure that it's long enough on the sides so that when you push it inside, the paper will come up and over both sides. Okay, so how do you do this? I've seen people actually take a ruler and measure, the inside of the mold. I am not good with measuring. That did not work out well for me. As a matter of fact, it worked out horribly for me. So this way for me is a lot easier, and maybe it will be for you too. We'll see. So I'm just double checking to make sure I've got enough on both sides, which I do. And how I get started is I keep the wax side up, and I just place my hand over the top, try to keeping it straight. And then I'm really basically just making an impression all the way down. So I'm making an impression of the inside and the outside of the mold. This kind of helps me so that I'll know where to fold this paper to make it fit properly inside. And I hold on to it every time I move my hand so that those lines don't move, because you want it to be as straight as possible. And I cut my nails this morning because I knew I was going to do this video. I don't want to cut the paper by accident with my nails, so sometimes I just bend it. But really, if you just take your finger like this, just make sure you've got a really good line that you can see. Once you take this paper off, you'll be able to do this. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to remove that for a moment. Move that out of the way. And now if you can see, hopefully you can see that. Let me move it a little closer. Hopefully you can see the lines that I've made by pressing it up against the rim of the mold. So the first thing that I do is I take this and I'm going to fold it on that inside line. So there's an inside and there's an outside. I'm going to fold it on the inside. So I take that and I find that line. I give it a quick little press like that. And then I just fold it like that. Make a really good straight line. And then I'm going to do it to the other side. Find that inside line. Give it a press so I can see where that is. Just give it a good crease right there. And then I'm going to do it to both ends on the inside. Hopefully this doesn't come off frame. I can't really tell. All right. Find that edge. Oops. There we go. Where is it? Almost lost it. Oh, there it is. All right. Like that. And I'll take this one and do the same. Find that edge. Fold it like that. Once I've got that, I've got really great folds right here on the inside. The next thing that I'm going to do is cut some of these edges off. They're too long, but not only that, you'll see what we're up to here. So this is the length of the mold, like this. And so I am going to, when I put this in the mold, it's going to, well, let me cut this first and then I'll show you because it'll be a lot easier. All right, so I'm going to take this side of the mold and the liner, and I'm going to cut up along this side right here, all the way to the inside line. I'm going to cut right on the crease, all the way to that inside corner, right there. Then on this side, I'm going to take off just a small amount because, and you'll see why in a second. When this goes into the mold, right, this goes up like this. This is going to come up and this side is going to fold over like that. So that makes the inside corner like that. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to this side and then I'll do it to this side. So we'll turn this around and we are going to cut this line all the way up to the inside. Cutting on an angle here. All the way to the inside like that. And then we're going to take this and create just that little flap just like we did there. Okay. And again, just so that you can see this, when this goes inside the mold, this will go in like this. This comes up and it folds itself around like this and makes a square. Okay, so now we're going to turn it around and do the same thing to the other side. Make sure you guys can see this. Okay. Yeah, you know, I can't even tell you how many times I've ruined paper, how much paper I've actually ruined trying to get a mold lined properly. I mean, it would be wrinkled or bunched up or, you know, it was terrible. And then one day I came across this one video, and I'll find it again so I can show you where I got the idea for this. You know, because measuring for me, I'm terrible at measuring. I mean, terrible. So there's no use in me even going down that road. I found this way, and I thought for me, this worked out perfect. So, you know, when you find something good, especially in the soaping world, you got to share it. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm going to just push this out of the way for a quick moment while we get our mold back, like so. And I'm going to lay this just kind of on top so I can get a grip on it. I'm going to pull up both of these sides, and I'm going to take this side and fold it like this. You can see that. Just folding it up just so I can get it in the mold, and then we can fix it once it's in there. And I'll do the same thing for this side. Lift it up. Fold it like that. And sometimes how I normally do it is I could just kind of dip one side in a little bit just to start getting it in there. And I loosen it up a little bit so it can just sort of fall in there. And it did. I mean, it just fell in there so perfectly. I don't know. I hope you can see that. It is in there perfectly. I mean, as a matter of fact, I don't know. I think, thank goodness that for this video, it actually came out perfect, because a lot of times, you know, even though I've done this a million times now, still I can get it to where one side is too crinkly or it's crooked or, you know, whatnot. But this actually fit perfectly. So the next thing is, you know, we need to fold these flaps over, but we can't because they're still connected to one another. So we need to score them. So what we do is we're going to take this corner right here, and we're just going to cut it all the way down till we hit the mold. Just right down the corner there till we touch the mold, and then we clip it. And then now it can bend down. We're going to do the same thing to this one. All the way down till it hits the mold. And there we go. And then, not really sure where the heck where to pose for the camera. You know, and I also decided, you know, from now on when I do videos, yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot of editing. It takes a lot of time, and I don't have the patience for it. So you may just have to sit here and listen to me chat every once in a while. Okay, so here we go. So now we've got all the corners clipped, it's looking good. Now we can just start folding it over. And what I do, if I've cut it kind of long, which I do sometimes because I can't really tell, I guess I could measure it to see exactly how long it is. I eyeball it and end up having just a little bit left over. But anyway, what I do now that I can flip these like this, I take the inside and I run my nail, clip them so they won't cut anything, inside to the crease of the mold, because you want to make sure that there's no rounded edges. You want it to be a nice, sharp, crisp edge for the soap to fall into. So there we have it. So then I just take it while holding it into the crease so, you know, it doesn't pull up on me. I then just kind of crease it along the sides like that so I can trim this little edge right here. Just trim it a little bit because it's just a little too long, and I want to be able to tape the sides down. Get that out of the way. And this one is kind of long, so I'll just trim that. This one is a little long. Okay, and then one last side. And I'm a left-handed person, so unfortunately you'll be watching me do things a little differently here. But anyways, so here we go. And I'll just trim these little flaps off right there. Okay, so all the cutting is done. Our mold is looking great. Now we're just going to tape down the sides so that you know, it doesn't fold in on the soap. You don't want to have a dented soap, so we need to secure those down. I just use regular shipping tape. You know, you could use Scotch tape too. You could use blue painter's tape or masking tape. This is what I just have handy here, so this is what I'm using. So I'll just take this first side and make sure that I hold it down here while I'm pushing up and over so that it's nice and smooth up against the wood. And then I just place the tape. And I really press it in because sometimes the tape lifts up off of the wood, and I wonder sometimes if it's because, you know, soap has gotten on there. Even though the molds, I clean them, you know, it can still have like oily residue from the soap. So there we go. Fold it, and I just tape it like that, and I just give it a good one of those. So I'm hoping someday, you know, I mean, I just started YouTube, so I only have a few people possibly even watching these videos, but if hopefully at some point, you know, somebody will stumble upon this, because I think the way to do this, you know, mold lining really is so much better than a lot of the ones that I've seen out there. Certainly, thank goodness I found this, because I was having a tough time. I didn't really want to use my 5-pound molds because it was hard to line them properly without, you know, a lot of creases or bunching, or, you know, this is like, I'm just gonna hold it up there. this is just, I mean, perfect. It's beautiful. It's gonna be great. So now that I've done that, I have to make some soap today. So I'll just quickly tell you about that. So yep, I'm going to make, I'm not sure what I'm gonna call it. I'm not even sure about the fragrance, but the colors, I know the colors that I'm gonna use, and it's going to be a pale pink and gold. And I think I'm going to do a drop swirl. I saw Eden Secret. She's from the UK. I'm going to link her website. I was watching her this morning. She's one of my favorite soapers, and she is just so funny. She makes the most beautiful soaps I've probably ever seen. She's just very creative and wonderful. And the colors that she was using on one of her soaps, I just thought, you know what? I have to do one like that. So try not to copy too much, try to make it my own, but definitely I have to make one with those colors. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'll be back, I don't know, maybe in the next couple of days, maybe do another video and, show you what I've made. Well, anyways, I hope someday you come across this and think that it was worth it and that you were able to use this method of lining your mold. All right. Bye-bye.